Hey guys, Eamonn here, back with another NRL League video. We're going to be checking out the Penrith Panthers today and how they like won or became so dominant, I guess, in 2020. So what do I know about the Penrith Panthers so far? I know they won three straight premierships, which is wild. I can't think of anyone that's done that in like pro sports in a while. And like I know in hockey, Tampa Bay won two in a row and then lost in the finals. Was that what happened? Yeah, they lost in the finals in the third one. And then there was also like the Chicago Blackhawks. They won 3 in 5 years, and LA won 2 in 5, 2 and 4, I believe. Yeah, that's pretty much close thing they got for hockey, at least. Yeah, so we're going to do their Wikipedia thing. Just a quick little look at their Wikipedia like we usually do. You can skip ahead if you don't want to watch that. I have the time code set up for the video. And yeah, if you've been enjoying the videos, make sure to drop a sub, drop a like, comment what I should check out in the future. I am going to I'm going to start trying to do some watch alongs for NRL games. Starting, I guess, will this video be out on that'd be the 31st? Yeah, March 31st. I'm going to be doing the Eels and the West Tigers. I'm doing a live stream for that, so make sure to check into that if you're interested in seeing me watch a game. It'll be the first full game I've watched before, so should be fun. Yeah, let's just hop into the video, or let's just hop into Wikipedia. Yeah, we're just gonna quickly skim through this. Yeah, they're Greater Western Sydney suburb of Penrith, which is 55 kilometers west of Sydney. Okay, at the foot of Blue Mountains. Yeah, they won 5 titles, 3 in the last 3 in a row. They went 20 years without reaching their first final series in the old league, and then went to the finals twice in a row and won the second time. And then they won again in 2003, and then they didn't win again for 20 years. Or no, for 17 years. Yeah, second club to ever win back-to-back, and the first team to win 3 in a row. Ivan Cleary was appointed head coach. Is he related to Nathan Cleary? Oh, he's the father of co-captain Nathan Cleary. Okay, that's awesome. Wow, okay, so he was the coach. That's kind of crazy. I guess, did he coach his son up his whole life, basically, then? And then when he got to the NRL, he was the coach of the team he was on? That's awesome. I did not know that. I was about to say, like, that Cleary. Okay, well, that's awesome. So this guy looks like, was he also a great player? Ivan Cleary? Looks like he had lots of points. I think that's a lot of points, right? Yeah, he must have been pretty good, just from looking at this. Yeah, I guess he was there throughout. Yeah, his entire career he was there when they didn't win. All right here. All right, but anyways, okay, so that's cool. The coach is the dad of their star player. You probably don't see that very often in like any sport. Yeah, let me just skip through this. Where's their season by season? Here we go, seasons. Okay, so I'm kind of skipping through the old stuff. I don't like, it's a lot to take in to look at like the old league and the context for it. But yeah, okay, so they won 2003. And then they 4th, 10th, went through a bad spell here. And they got 2nd in 2010, and then a couple more bad years, 4th, 11th, 6th, 7th, 5th, 10th. Okay, so they made a big jump here. They went from 10th to 1st, and then they lost in the finals, right? Yeah, they lost in the finals. Yeah, so yeah, actually right when Cleary started putting up points here, it looks like they started doing better. Yeah, so they got first in regular season here, then lost in the finals. And they got 2nd and then won, and they got first, and won 2 in a row. So that's crazy. They seem like they got like better. They just kept getting better and better. Is their attendance? Yeah, look at their attendance. Jeez, that's like 18,000 is like hockey stadium attendance. It's crazy. I guess that's what happens when your team's that good. You get a lot of fans. Yeah, so let's just hop into this video. I'm gonna do a video on Nathan Cleary as well, because you guys are saying he's pretty much on his way to being like the best league player ever. I was looking for a video to watch of his though, and I couldn't find it seemed like there was no videos at all on YouTube of highlights of his, so that's weird. If you guys have any, let me know, link some, because I was shocked I couldn't find any. Like usually for most of the places I look up, there's like 5 videos at least of like highlights, but I couldn't find anything. All the videos I did see were like really short, like minute-long ones, so maybe I can just do a bunch of short ones and put them in one video or something. But yeah, let me know. But yeah, so this video we got is from Alpha. Subscribe to them if you're not subscribed. I like the video. It's called "How Did the Penrith Panthers Become So Dominant in 2020?" And I was looking at the comments here, the description here, and he did say there was some he got some copyright issues, so there's a couple little clips cut out from this that make it kind of janky. But yeah, and then he said to read the there's something removed from the some transcript that he really liked that people didn't get to see because of this. But so he said, not so long ago, the Penrith Panthers were looking down the barrel of bankruptcy. They were a team that seemed down and out, in need of a rebuild of mass proportions, stuck in a mediocre situation primarily outside the finals, with a passionate fan base that deserved more. Other than the 2003 triumph, success had been barren for the Penrith Panthers. So what's changed? How has this team located at the foot of the mountain risen to the very top? Nice. I'm excited to watch this. So yeah, let's hop into this. I'm gonna try not to pause it as much as possible, but if you've watched my videos, you know I kind of get carried away with the pausing, so we'll see what happens here. All right, let's go.
Not so long ago, the Penrith Panthers were looking down the barrel of bankruptcy. They were a team that seemed down and out, in need of a rebuild of mass proportions.
Stuck
in a mediocre situation, primarily
I just
outside
read this.
the finals.
This it looks like it's in the video now. Oh no, it just got cut off there. Okay. Phil Gould's a rebuild.
2012 was the first full year of the Phil Gould era, with the Penrith Panthers trying to amend past faults by commencing a full-blown rebuild. Gould would claim that the club was in very serious financial trouble, as the club sat in a debt of $110 million. This led to Phil Gould contacting wealthy billionaire James Packer for a loan of $10 million, which was granted. Packer would help Penrith renegotiate themselves out of a tough financial situation with a private equity firm, giving the Panthers 18 months to refinance. The Panthers would sell some of their 14 clubs and eventually got refinanced by the bank, a significant day for the club. The financial instability was also hampering their salary cap. It had been discovered that by 2014, 12 of the 25-player squad would take up all but $600,000 of the salary cap. Origin player and club legend Luke Lewis felt the full brunt of the salary reshuffle as the 200-gamer was moved to the Cronulla Sharks. Another Penrith star in Michael Jennings would also be moved on.
They just start shipping out players because of this?
The New South Wales Cup side.
That explains why they got so bad, I guess.
It was also clear both Gould and Ivan Cleary were determined to rebuild the club, even if it meant losing in the short term. This was shown in the club's poor performance in the 2012 season, with a record of 8 wins and 16 losses, positioning themselves 15th on the table. This was the club's worst finish in 8 years and highlighted how big of a hole the club was in. The 2013 season would see the influx of plenty of fresh faces. It was out with the old and in with the new. As Jennings, Lewis and Michael Gordon left the club, a host of young prospects and fringe players made up the Penrith Panthers squad. Dean Fire, Lewis Brown and James Roberts were given starting roles and were primed to be a real underdog during the 2013 season. Although, as many predicted, the Panthers would struggle. They would only win 2 of their first 8 matches as this group looked to gel. It was not all gloom for Penrith though, as they did have a couple 3-game win streaks and an impressive 62-6 win over the Warriors. The Panthers were in 7th position after 18 rounds, but an eventual 4-game losing streak would push them out of the 8. Isaac John, David Simmons and Dean Fare were standouts, as most Penrith players were still proud of how the club competed and were keeping their heads high for the following season.
So it sounds like they started building a culture up of like hard work and stuff around this time.
Now it's 2014, 3 years into Phil Gould's 5-year plan. By the way, the 5-year plan was created by the media. Anyways, the Panthers started to have something to show for their struggles. A definite focus on experience was clear in their acquisitions, which were headlined by Premiership winner Jamie Soward and former New South Wales representative Peter Wallace.
So they were super young, and then
Wallace was appointed co-captain alongside Kevin
older, they started acquiring
the young prospects signed from the previous season and the more experienced signings this season. After 8 rounds, it was still unsure whether this plan was working, as the team's inconsistent play had led to a record of 4 wins and 4 losses. The Panthers needed to take a hold of their season, and did so professionally. Penrith would win 5 games in a row, and by Origin time sat tied first in the standings. Well on their way to a minor premiership, the injuries started to mount to key names like Elijah Taylor, Bryce Cartwright, Tyrone Peachey and Peter Wallace. This caused the team to fall in rounds 19 and 20, with critics writing their season off already. Premiership. Ivan Cleary would win Dally M Coach of the Year, highlighting the great work he and the board had done. James Soward's impressive kicking game and game management were especially on show in their qualifying finals matchup against the Sydney Roosters to a try, and the conversion from the sideline by Jamie Soward would set up the last-minute...
Looks like it's skipping around here because of the copyright stuff they're doing, so yeah, I'm assuming they made the playoffs that year. Just barely, or the finals. You guys call the finals, right? Yeah, the finals. So they made it, and then their coach won Coach of the Year, so because they were
from Sauer,
unexpected.
only a couple minutes later.
Down to 15. That earlier time I gave you was wrong. The kick from Sauer.
Nice.
The kick from Sauer. It's a goal. It's a goal.
They would lose in the preliminary finals to the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
Penrith's
okay.
New South Wales Cup side were crowned champions. With success in both the NRL and the New South Wales Cup, fans were excited about what the future held for the Penrith Panthers.
Nice, okay. Yeah, I remember they just started losing again. It's okay. So 2015 they.
Now it was
let that down
2015,
again.
and the fans were expecting the team to repeat the success from the previous season.
Mhm.
With wins in round 1 and 2, the team looked set for a strong
Oh, geez,
season.
yeah.
Unfortunately, injuries killed the Panthers' chance at a successful campaign.
Okay.
Key players like Seguiaro, Wallace, Soward and Moylan would not even amass 13 games in the season due to injuries.
Oh, jeez.
There was not a position that did not suffer from injury problems throughout the season. The injuries were so destructive that 11 different halves combinations were used, including Apisai Coruscant and Tyrone Peachy. The Panthers did fight well to remain in the top 8 until round 12, but as these injuries began to compile, Penrith would have no chance.
You can only do so much. when
Penrith
your
had
team's
finished
hurt.
the season in 11th place, only one win away from the wooden spoon. It was a disappointing season to say the least. Fans were expecting at least another finals appearance, and so was the
Let me
board.
pause there for a second. The Tampa Bay team I was talking about in hockey, they were like pretty consistently being like considered a team that could win for like 5 years or so, and then all of a sudden they had a year where all their players were hurt, and they actually missed like the playoffs 1 year, and then the next year they went back to being dominant again, and then eventually won their 2 cups. So that's injuries are you can't really do much about them.
This meant that the former Dally M Coach of the Year, Ivan Cleary, was sacked with 1 year left on his contract.
Oh, we got fired.
This move, conducted by CEO Brian Fletcher and
Okay.
General Manager Phil Gould, was one many didn't see coming.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Cleary was expected to run out his contract through the following season, but his performance was deemed inadequate by the club. A combination of poor results and discontent within the club was rumoured to why Ivan Cleary was fired.
Interesting. So even though the team's hurt, they just still blamed it on him and fired him, I guess. So weird. And I actually don't know how players
The
are
acquisition of
acquired.
new coach Anthony
in
Griffin during the
NRL.
2015-16 off-season was based around his ability to nurture young talent. This was emphasised with
Let me pause there actually for a second. Yeah, I should probably figure that out. How are players acquired in the NRL? Like, do they develop? Does every team own minor league teams or lower level teams, and then like sign players when they're like really young, or is there a draft? Yeah, I draft would make sense because I know like in most like North American sports it's a draft system, but because it's not really fair to other. I never liked that in like soccer and stuff where players can just be like bought pretty much. It doesn't seem as fair to me where teams can't just develop players by drafting their rights, but it is more player friendly when there's no draft, obviously, because if a team just holds your rights forever, they can do whatever they want with you. But let me know how that works, and how did Cleary end up on Penrith? Because I think he came in 2016, right? And that would be like when his dad got fired, so that must have been kind of weird.
club releasing veterans like Seguiaro, Soward and Lewis Brown in favour of younger players. Griffin's belief in the youngsters was valid, as Penrith's under-20 side had just won the premiership in 2015 and also had won the competition in 2013.
So teams do develop.
His faith in the young core
players.
would be repaid as the Panthers had a
There's like
solid,
U20 teams.
successful season. The Panthers did start a bit shaky with a 3-5 record, but finished the season on a 5-game winning streak heading into the finals. A key contributor to Penrith's late season success was an 18-year-old in Nathan Cleary, who was given his debut by Griffin.
Jeez.
Trent Merrin's consistency was the standout in the Forge during 2016 as well. The Panthers would win their elimination final against the Bulldogs, but fell in the qualifying final against the Raiders.
Okay, so they lost
Griffin
their second
turned
round
around
match.
the club and did what was expected. The real excitement was coming from their state-of-the-art $22 million academy, set to propel the under-20 side, who were runners-up in the 2016 competition, into future stars ready for their shot at first grade.
Nice. Okay.
Going into 2017, this now was year 6 for Phil Gould and his alleged 5-year plan. So pundits were expecting a premiership from the club. Griffin went all in with their youngsters pairing of...
This is actually giving me, for any hockey fans in here as well, this is reminding me of the Leafs actually with Brendan Shanahan. He kind of came in and like rebuilt the team, and everyone he had a 5-year plan called the Shana plan. and the team was like really good, expected to win, and then they just kind of, I guess, different from the Panthers, they didn't actually win. They still have all the main players they got from that era, but they haven't won yet. So been a bit of a disappointment for us so far. But yeah, hopefully eventually it'll come.
Tamari Martin and Nathan Cleary, but questions were quickly being asked when the team sided with 2 wins and 7 losses.
Jeez.
Martin was not meshing with his halves partner and jumped ship, leaving for the Cowboys mid-season.
He just left
Griffin
mid-season?
would also
How
lean
does
on
that
youngsters
work?
like Harry Naira, Dylan Edwards and Tyrone May as rookies to perform, and eventually the team started to succeed. Their prop pairing of Campbell Gillard and Tamo gave them some go-forward, with the Panthers finishing the season with 11 wins in 15 games.
Nice.
The off-field drama involving Bryce Cartwright would cause him to struggle immensely on the field. Another controversy was with Matt Moylan, Wonga Blake and Peter Hickey involving breaching team protocol after having a night out after a game. Moylan would be dropped for a week, stripped of the captaincy. Murmurs throughout the season that a lack of leadership and underwhelming work ethic from Moylan had put him on the club's bad side. The Panthers would finish the season in 6th place, beating the Dragons in an elimination final, only to lose to the Broncos the next week. Fans were disappointed. They expected more, and so did the board, which led to a huge swap
first-round
deal.
exits here too, which is
The swap deal had the Panthers looking good for 2018, with the proven champion James Maloney swapping with Matt Moylan.
Okay.
Nathan Cleary had just come off a monster year, and Maloney's guidance was predicted to propel the club even further.
Okay.
20% of their 2012 side was homegrown, whilst in 2018 the homegrown depth had expanded to 80% of the club's roster. A pretty extraordinary result and a real testament to the infrastructure and system that has been put in place at the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah.
As mentioned earlier, the club has incredibly successful youth sides, and these guys were now transitioning into the first grade. Players involved in both the 2013 and 2015 Holden Cup winning sides like Campbell Gillard, Isaiah Yeo, Tyrone May.
Maybe I'll pause it again real quickly. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that answers my questions. Kind of all the teams have like youth clubs and youth academies that they kind of develop players that way. So it's more like soccer and stuff, I guess, where teams have academies. They'll sign players when they're like 12, 13, 14, etc., and kind of bring them up that way, develop them through their system the whole way. Yeah, that's definitely a big difference compared to American sports, as far as pretty much. Or I guess there's the MLS. I guess the MLS does that. I know if there's any soccer fans, here, like the team the team where I'm from had Alphonso Davies on their is it called like the junior Whitecaps maybe? I don't know, the U20 Whitecaps. I remember they had him, and then he went on the Whitecaps, and and now he's like a big superstar over in is he on Germany now, I think, is the team he's on. Something like that. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but yeah, I remember Alphonso Davies was pretty awesome. Let's keep going.
May, Dylan Edwards, Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris were living examples of how successful Penrith's youth system had become. The team was playing solid, but this was not enough for the Panthers' dedicated fan base. This was a team that was overdue for a premiership, and by round 20, Fieldgood decided to terminate the contract of Anthony Griffin.
Oh geez, okay, mid-season?
The risk was enormous for the club as they were in the top 4, but the poor relationship between the players and Griffin, as well as the top 4 Fieldgood and Griffin, were pinpointed as keys to the dismissal.
Okay, so there is more behind-the-scenes drama.
Built a bitter feud, publicly criticising each other. Phil Gould was quoted saying they wouldn't have won a premiership if he was coaching.
Weird.
Gould would promote Cameron Ciraldo as the interim head coach, with the team ending the season inconsistently, placing 5th. A win in the elimination final against the New Zealand Warriors would set up the qualifying final against the Cronulla Sharks. Penrith almost pulled off a remarkable comeback. Down 18-2 at halftime, they would storm back to level the score at 20-20 before a Chad Townsend field goal sent them home.
Damn, okay.
The 2018-19 off-season is where things heated up. The Penrith board had come to a decision that Ciraldo was not who they wanted to lead the club, and a search for a new coach was on.
This is where they get Ivan Cleary back?
Swell about a reunion with Ivan Cleary, even though he had 2 years left in his contract with the West Tigers. Phil Gould, the club's general manager, was not involved in this recruiting as he decided to fire Cleary in 2015. The members of the board, including CEO Brian Fletcher and Chairman David O'Neill, were going behind Gould's back to get Cleary. This aggressive approach paid off as Nathan Cleary would be released by the West Tigers and signed to a 3-year deal with the Penrith Panthers. 2019 marked Ivan's redemption year, a year to prove why he should have not been fired in his first stint as coach.
Yeah, that's interesting.
A full preseason was behind him, and the Panthers were ready to go until they were rocked. On March 7th, 2 weeks before the season started, Penrith Panthers player Tyrone May would be exposed for a sex tape scandal that ruled him out for the remainder of the season.
A sex tape scandal?
May would admit to these charges and was indefinitely suspended. This scandal would disrupt the club significantly, with former NRL great Laurie Daly claiming he would not let his son play for the club. And Phil Gould reportedly in tears over the matter, feeling let down.
I guess there must have been something illegal about the sex tape scandal, because
this drama, combined with a significantly reduced role at the club, caused Phil Gould to leave the Penrith Panthers 6 rounds into the season.
Just a sex tape would be enough to get someone kicked off. But
I think the club's in a really good position, and I think I'm in a good position.
Although a dramatic ending to his tenure, Phil Gould is certainly remembered for his efforts that saved the club. With all this going on, Penrith fans were hoping that performances on the field would start to become the focus. In some aspects they did. Penrith's performances did make everyone forget about their tumultuous off-season, although not for the right reasons. Penrith would start their season with a record of 2 wins and 8 losses, sitting at the bottom of the NRL table. This is where Ivan Cleary was heavily criticised as pundits began to claim the firing of Griffin was unnecessary the year prior. The partnership of Nathan Cleary and James Maloney was awful as well, as they seemed to have no chemistry and lacked any sort of offensive creativity. Luckily, the Panthers would win 7 games in a row, bringing them back into finals contention. This momentum did fizzle out though in the final 6 rounds, as they finished 10th on the ladder. The only real highlight from this season were rookies like Brian To'o, Brent Naden and Liam Martin, who were showing exceptional promise. Billy Army kicked out Fisher Harris with a club's best and otherwise terrible season.
The plan complete.
In 2020, Penrith made an emphasis on getting rid of high salary players, and players that weren't needed on the roster. 12 players would be offloaded, including key starters like James Maloney, Wanga Blake and Regan Campbell-Gillard. The one signed player was Apisai Coruscant from the Manly Seagulls, who went under many radars. 2020 was considered Ivan Cleary's last chance at a premiership, as his days began to be numbered. The Panthers would calm many fans' nerves, as the team started with 2 wins before COVID-19 halted play. The Panthers would return to action to produce one of the most unbelievable seasons the NRL has ever seen. After a loss in round 5, the Panthers would win 15 games in a row, finishing the season with a record of 18 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. Week after week, Penrith dismantled their opponents. They were playing confident, free-flowing footy and became favourites for neutral fans. The new explosive offense was attributed to the hiring of assistant coach Trent Barrett and the focus of Nathan Cleary being the out-and-out playmaker. Penrith finished the season as the minor premiers with the best point differential and the best defence in the NRL. Their Week 1 finals matchup was against back-to-back champions, the Sydney Roosters. In an incredibly tight game that involved back-and-forth scoring, a Cleary field goal would edge Penrith a 29-28 win and a spot in the preliminary final. They would face the Rabbitohs in the preliminary final in a close matchup, where they'd pull out the victory by just 4 points. This meant only one game stood between Penrith and the premiership. This is a team that was built from within. A team where 13 players this Sunday will realise their grand final dream with their debut club. Parallels have already been made with that 2003 Penrith Panthers premiership side.
I love the 2003 jerseys.
Youngsters like Stephen Crichton, Liam Martin and Jerome Luai have expertly meshed with experienced old hands like James Tarmo, Apisai Coruscant and Josh Mansour. The 9-year vision held collectively by Phil Gould, Ivan Cleary and board members has been realised. Now only 80 minutes of grand final footy stand between the Penrith Panthers and becoming NRL champions.
Alright, and they lose the first year though, right? Looks like. Yeah, oh, the video ended, okay. Yeah, so that was the Penrith Panthers and how they became so dominant. Yeah, really cool video. Yeah, it seems they went through some tough times. Started a plan. They invested heavily in like their youth clubs and stuff and developing players up the ranks. That seems to be the way to go for most. You can't just buy wins for the most part. Well, you can in certain circumstances, but not when there's a salary cap, especially. You need to have homegrown talent and guys that play together, and especially in league with how like chemistry is so important and all that. So it's good to have guys that come up through the ranks together and all that. But yeah, it's really interesting to see the Ivan Cleary thing, how he got fired and then came back, and then like I guess he didn't actually coach his son for like a good like 4 years there. It looked like But yeah, that's so cool that like a father-son duo that's like that dominant. That's like, I'm trying to think of like if I can remember that happening anywhere else. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I know there's a father and son like hockey like manager duo where they kind of managed with each other, or sort of roughly, but they also kind of got involved in a little bit of a scandal. So with the Blackhawks, if anyone's if anyone's a hockey fan knows about that, a little bit of a scandal there. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Like coaching your son that'd be so cool. to winning 3 titles, that'd be awesome. Yeah, but yeah. So the video kind of ended abruptly, but I guess that's because it's implied like what happens next, that they lose the final that one and then they win 3 more. But yeah, I guess like I think you guys have said the Penrith's kind of, they've lately like this past year they've been shedding players every year because they develop so many good players that there comes a point where they have to pay them all, and there's a salary cap, so you can't just keep everyone. So they're starting to kind of slowly wind down, and they're probably not as big a favorites this year as they were in the past. And yeah, I mean, if they've kept up with their development stuff, they'll have replacements upcoming, so maybe they'll go through a little lull here and then continue on again, with especially when they have Cleary, who you guys, like I said, you guys mentioned is like one of the best ever at this point, and if he keeps this up for a little bit longer, he's pretty much will be considered the best league player ever. Yeah, cool video. If there's more videos like that, let me know, because I definitely like learning about like the history of the league and the sport more than just individual players. It's more cool to me like learning about the actual like the lore, I guess, and just like learning about stuff in general in the league and sport. Yeah, we'll send it there. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to drop a sub, drop a like, comment, stuff to check out. Anything I might have missed as well, make sure to let me know.